Hello everyone, and welcome to this little quick time lapse. We've got 5 minutes here. So this one, I am working on the pastel matte paper, and it's 20 centimeters by 23 centimeters, and the reference image was downloaded from or created on Midjourney, which is an AI program. Now, this was originally a commission, and the commission was peaches. She wanted peaches, and I couldn't find a nice picture of peaches, including ones I'd taken. There was just no reference anywhere, so that's why I went and used Midjourney. I did type in the command to do peaches, and it came out with this. I really loved everything about it. I loved the way the nectarines were sitting. So I decided to use this image, but I shall make them peaches, and I'll simply do that. This is all in my brain. I'll simply do that by adding fur to the skin, because that's the difference, right? Nectarines and peaches look identical except the texture of the skin. And I've done peaches in the past with pastel, so I knew that if I just took like a violet, very pale grayish violet, and I scumbled that along the surface, it was going to read as fuzz, and then these will magically turn into peaches. Needless to say, that did not happen. That was not the case at all. These ended up looking a bit like apples, and then they were like, no, these are definitely more like nectarines, but not quite. So I feel really silly saying this, but it's always best to choose your reference photo according to what you're actually going to pastel. I thought I could wing it because, like I said, I've done a few peaches in the past, but it just didn't work. Because here I'm looking at the reference photograph and I am creating these nectarines, and that is what they're looking like. They're not going to look like peaches unless, well, for me they didn't. They, as you'll see in the photograph as it progresses, in the painting as it progresses, never looks like peaches. It always looks like nectarines. Or apples, confused apples, and not quite nectarines, but I make them more orangey towards the end, which gives them more of a nectarine look. But big mistake, learned, now I know, don't even try. I don't have the skill set yet, I suppose. I don't have the memory skill of years and years and years and years of painting to be able to turn these into peaches. So anyway, lesson learned. So I started again and I created peaches, and they looked like peaches. So these are going to a shop, and the customer is happy with her peach commission, which I didn't record. So anyway, really important when doing this type of background, when you've got so much contrast like this with the shadow on the wall, it's got to be soft and out of focus. Make sure you got no harsh lines within the shadow. Another little tip is to bring whatever the wall color is into the shadow itself, so that it's not so stark. The reference photograph is more yellow, that wall's more yellow, but I changed mine to be a little bit more creamier. I felt like the yellow would just be a little bit too much, and I fancy doing more of a neutral background. So you can see in the nectarines using hard pastels, soft pastels. I've got a few pastel pencils as well. As always, I'm using a whole range of brands, all the brands. I don't stick just to one brand. I go all over the brands because I feel like each of them have their unique qualities and they're all beneficial in some way. So, also when it comes to the leaves, a little tip is always remember leaves and foliage is more yellow than you think. To create more realistic looking leaves, always bring in yellow tone greens. That's definitely very helpful if you're wanting to create realism. So at the end of this, you'll see a photograph of my finished painting, except this isn't the finished painting because it was ready at the framers, and I realized I hadn't taken a finished painting. So the one at the end of this has actually got splodges of fixative on, which you can see. Obviously the finished painting, those splodges aren't there. Just to let you know if you got confused why it looks like watermarks on the finished piece. Anyway, that's it. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.